What happens when your neighbors tell you you should price your house $100,000 higher than market value because, they might move 3 years from now and they want prices to stay up because when they move, of course, they want to make more money, right? And so I'm going to talk to you about what's going to happen in that situation and also give you a question to ask them that might remove or reduce some anxiety in this situation for you. And let me give you a real world scenario. A family had their house on the market for about 4 months and it didn't sell. So they've just hired me now to sell their house. And I asked them how they arrived at the original list price of their home. And what they told me is that they thought it was too high, but the neighbors were putting all this pressure on them. And so they decided, all right, I'm going to be the, nice neighbor and list my house too high. Well, of course it didn't sell. And here's kind of why it doesn't happen this is something that we call chasing the market in the real estate business. And, the neighbors, what they're hoping for is you got 5 houses that are going to sell and everyone's going to stick together at a higher price. And there's going to be this solidarity, this brotherhood of neighbors. And nobody's ever going to accept a price lower, and they're not going to list their price lower. They're all going to stand firm on the price. But what do we know? We know people sell their house because of things like relocation, divorce, death. People have babies, need a bigger house. People downsize. And many of those people are motivated, right? So my clients who are moving to California and they need to sell their house before they can buy their next house, they don't want to wait 3 years to sell their house just to make the neighbors happy. And here's kind of what's going to happen though when you do this, is that everybody starts out and they're all going to fight it out and they're all committed to selling the house. But after a little while, one of them realizes, you know what, we've got to sell our house because we want to buy that house in California, right? And so they move their price down a little bit lower and it sells. One person moves. Now what happens? Well, the rest of the market chases because the buyers see this and there's no chance now that they're going to pay too much money in our market right now for a house after they've already seen this. So the next thing that happens is 2 more people want to move and they reduce their price, right? Because they've got to come down even farther because now their home's been on the market for 60 days and it's kind of like that day old bread, right? And so one of these will sell, one of them kind of might or might not. And then another one's going to come down even farther, right? And here's what's going to happen to you is you're just kind of stuck up here. And one or two things will happen is either you're going to wind up having to accept a price way below what you could have 3 months ago, 4 months ago, or your house isn't going to sell at all. And, maybe you're going to have to wait to sell it for 3 years until you get a price that is acceptable to the neighbors. So let me give you a little script here to ask your neighbors if they're telling you that your home is going to be priced too low. And your neighbors are totally detached from the realities of the real estate market. So you want to ask them, if they say the price is too low, you want to ask them, what makes you say that? And then listen to them. And if they actually have some rationale for it, maybe they're right. Okay. But if they're just like, well, we just want you to price your house higher because we want to sell our house in 3 years. Well, that's how you wind up not selling your home at all. So if you're getting pressure from your neighbors about all of this stuff, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Let's actually look at what the data says about your home and not your neighbors who you're never even going to talk to again after you move, not what they think about your house.